This is a podcast called 25 Whistles, talking football, and they all wear a whistle. Yeah, it's stupid, but what did you expect? It's a podcast called 25 Whistles. 25 Whistles.
Welcome to the show.
What the? That's my job,
You
man.
don't own the whistle. You do it most times because I'm already thinking about what to do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's all good. There's a guy who was shot and killed after a dispute over a jukebox song.
Oh, no.
Which one was it?
Oh, you think it's about the song? I feel like it's probably about the disrespect more than they're fighting about a song.
Usually that's what it is.
Yeah.
I kind of didn't want to know what song that was, though.
Well, I can get into the story. I didn't even read about the song because I figure one of them plays a song. It doesn't matter what it is, but the other one wants a song. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
And it's just a disrespect issue. But a guy's dead after a dispute over a jukebox song turned violent at a Mexican restaurant in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, no.
The argument started at 1:30 a.m. So
They were drunk.
Alcohol.
yeah.
And then for sure, disrespect.
One man insulted another over a song choice on the music machine. Quote, I heard that there were two guys and they got into the argument because one of them played a song and the other guy was pissed off. The guy got insulted, pulled his weapon and started shooting the other guy.
Wow.
Dang.
Bro, they don't talk about the songs.
Margaritas.
The altercation escalated quickly. The man who insulted the song allegedly drew his weapon first, but the other man near the jukebox fired back, so they both had guns.
What is this, the Wild
Maybe
West?
that's what it feels like. Like they walked in those swinging doors.
Florida,
the
baby.
Saloon?
Because again, they both happen to have guns right then. They just pulled them out. Fort Lauderdale police confirmed the identity of the victim as 54-year-old Socorro Camacho. Authorities are still investigating the shooting. No song mentioned here.
Well,
Wasn't even about the song.
well, no, they did. They got mad about the song choice, it said.
But it was mostly about the disrespect.
I was
the
at
insult of the song.
Right. I was,
WSVN.com with the story. Go ahead.
I was at a bar one time and I played, what did I play? It was like one of the Rocky songs. Because it's
Gonna
cool.
Fly now?
Not coming hard now.
The
Is
James
that
Brown
it?
one?
Is that it?
That one? Okay.
No, coming on
Gonna
now.
Fly Now, yeah.
And some guy in there was so upset. He's like, "Who put Rocky on?" And I'm like, "What?" And I did not raise my hand. Like I was gonna be like, I did.
I didn't think that was so controversial, Rocky. I feel like everyone loves Rocky.
I feel like there was just something
Yeah.
going on with him, and maybe people play that song all the time. Because I was shocked to see it on the jukebox. First off, like
Really?
that's pretty
Gonna
cool.
Fly Now? Or it also could have been dun, 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 that's Gonna
Survivor?
Fly. Survivor. I the Tiger.
I had the Tiger, maybe.
Gosh, I don't remember. It was a few years back.
Few. How many really?
There's that James Brown one.
Coming to America. Really, America.
Rocky 3.
Rocky, yeah.
I don't know, dude. Maybe like 10 years ago.
Probably longer, huh?
Maybe. God,
Was,
dude,
it, was it here in Tennessee?
No, I was back in Texas.
So it had to be
that
it's
was
longer. It's like
15
15
years ago.
years. It's our thing with our age now. Everything seems 3 years ago,
I know that's not good.
and it wasn't.
Everything
seems-
yeah, it's 2000. No,
5.
Everything. We can do the UNLV thing first, and I think we've had a couple days now for it to happen. But you familiar with the story?
quarterback.
Quarterback decides, hey, I'm going to go ahead and check out. I didn't get the money I was promised, $100,000. And everybody has come out with their side of it. Like the school's like, we never promised him that. That's not in writing. The collective's like, we didn't. And he's like, no, an assistant coach and the dad. Everybody has their side. And I don't know that I see a specific side that's proved one way or the other who's telling the truth. But there are a couple things from this. If the dad is this involved, this is his fault. Because unless you have something in writing, nothing really exists.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, yeah.
So as the adult, as the responsible person, because that dad seems like he's involved in this now. He is now, so maybe he was then. I assume he would be. The kid
Was he
he came
recruited
from
there?
Holy Cross. What?
Was he recruited there? Was he a freshman when he went to UNLV?
No, he came from Holy Cross. He
Okay,
transferred.
so he was a transfer.
So I would assume that whoever the adult was that was involved in this screwed up. You can never have any sort of monetary agreement and expect it to hold true unless it's in writing. So that's number one. Number two, this is the greatest thing to ever happen to college football. Because I've said forever, there needs to be absolute pandemonium for there to be any rules that are made. Like it has to prove that it is so broken for anybody to step in and actually form it in a way that seems to be healthier for the sport. So speaking of the Wild West, that's what it kind of feels like right now.
Oh, yeah.
With NIL, with portal, because there are no rules and regulations. Matter of fact, it keeps getting less and less rules and regulations.
But I can't think that college football or the people behind all this didn't think that, hey, let's start paying college players money and let's not have any real regulations. And they thought it was just going to be okay.
But you didn't hear what I just said. It slowly peeled itself back less and less rules. There was never a day where they went, all the rules are gone. The case goes to Supreme Court, the O'Bannon case about a video game, right? That happens. Now players can get paid, which they should have been paid all along. It's so stupid. What's the difference in paying for a scholarship of a kid or giving him money? He's getting paid.
Cash money
There's
versus
no difference.
going to the school.
There's no difference. So, because other people have to pay their own cash money to get that. So it's a value, right? It'd be like, okay, we won't give them NIL money, we'll give them a gift card. Well, that's
that.
but it's not. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So with the billions of dollars that these schools are making off of these kids, I think it is absolutely right that the people who are creating the income make some of the income. But they just didn't go one day, everybody can transfer and everybody gets paid. Not at all. The portal happened like 5 or 6 years ago. It was a slow roll. All of a sudden the transfer, and people didn't really know how to use it. The NIL happens because the Supreme Court, they then are married to each other because then people would get in the portal because of the ability to be paid. So there was never a moment where a board sat around and went like, surely this won't end bad. The onion just kept getting peeled back little by little until, because everybody takes advantage of it, rightfully so, we all do. We all take advantage of everything we're given to the max that we can take advantage of it. Even like at work, like how much can you get away with actually not working?
Taxes.
Dude, not me.
No.
You're out of your mind. I didn't say that.
People do
I didn't
that.
say that. That's
Oh,
you.
Eddie.
Do people not do
That's
that?
you.
Hey, look at my stuff. I'm
So,
clean.
Here's my point. My point is this. We need absolute disasters to happen. So rules and regulations that make sense now are kind of dictating what college athletics is. We need this. We need this to happen 10 times.
Yeah.
The crazy thing's happening now because this story happens. I loved it. I love to see mayhem.
But it sucks for UNLV.
It really does.
And Coach Odom, friend of the show.
Coach Arm's awesome. He's a 40% passer. Who gives a crap? Their backup quarterback almost just as good.
Okay.
My point is, we needed this to happen. We need more of this to happen. The new thing that's happening is if you play in 4 games, I believe is the rule, you no longer can redshirt. So you can play 3 games, but if you play your 4th, you no longer can redshirt. So some of these student athletes are going, I'm 3 games in, I've played in 3 games, but I'm not really making much money, and I don't want to waste a year because I only have 4 years of earning potential. So I'm going to go ahead and go, I'm going to redshirt. Then they can only do it once. So they can't, it's not like they can transfer every year.
Right.
You can only redshirt once. So the Bear kid from USC is doing this. The kid that he went to Georgia, was like recruited to Georgia, big recruit. Now he's at USC. He's like, I played 3 games, I'm transferring.
4 games, up to 4 games.
Yeah.
And then Notre Dame kid did this too, a corner.
He did.
Same thing?
Well, no, this is going to happen all over the place. It's not surprising. I'm sure since we recorded this, because it's that time of the year, it's the 5th game, 4th game, whatever it is, that a lot of kids, and it's not a bad decision. It is within the rules.
Yeah.
So why would you not do it? If you're an athlete that may not go to the NFL, and 9% of them do, some crazy stat where it's not that many, why would you not take advantage of the 4 to 5 years where you actually can make money off of your athletic career while you're going to school? Like, I'm not going to fault anybody for doing this because it's within the rules. Where I would fault somebody is if they were doing it and it wasn't that, like, they found a loophole. This is not a loophole. This is right in the rules. And I'm never going to hate on somebody for going to get their money. Like, people that do that are like, you're just a quitter. I don't know what happened with that UNLV kid.
Yeah, that's different because of saying.
I don't even think it's different. I don't know what's happened. I've talked to people on both, not really both sides, but I've talked to people who are in the program, and I've talked to people who are basically, I'll just call them reporters. And everybody kind of has a different story.
Mm-hmm.
And if the kid was promised $100,000 and wasn't paid it, that sucks. And the problem was it wasn't in writing.
Yeah.
But let's say it was, and it wasn't. But let's say it was. Anybody's promised something in writing, they don't get it, I would quit too. It's a job. So I don't hate somebody for making a business decision ever. Will this decision hurt him in the future? If he ended up making it in a very sloppy, reckless way, yes. But that's the risk you take whenever you make a business decision. This is a business decision. We're acting like college football is romantic and you just stick with your team. We don't do that with our jobs. If our job sucks and we're not getting paid what we're promised, you leave or you get fired. So we shouldn't attach a different emotion because we romanticize college football. This is the only time. This kid is not going to play in the NFL. This is the only time he's ever going to get paid. to play football.
Yeah.
So why would you not maximize that the best possible? Well, the reason people get mad and the people who do get mad are either people who are never going to make money playing sports or people who already have their money. Because if it was you in that situation or your kid, you would treat it completely different. So I'm not going to villainize the kid. I'm going to villainize the adults around him that didn't get it in writing. Because nothing is real unless it's in writing. You can handshake all day long.
Those were the good old days, man.
But see, it's people that say that too, that hate on college football for all the changes.
Good old days. You shake someone's hand and be like, all right, man, I will pay you tomorrow. And they pay you.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to hate on the kid. We need things to go really wrong for a while before somebody steps in to fix them, because otherwise they're just mildly broken. And who cares about something mildly broken?
Yeah.
If your car's making a noise occasionally, you ain't taking it in.
Good. Even the check engine
That
light.
line-
That
Light's
light
been
comes
on
on and on.
forever.
Yeah, you ain't taking it in.
Good. We're
Heck
good.
no.
You ain't taking it in. If
No.
smoke starts to come out
We
or
need
you
it.
break down, you get it fixed.
Yeah.
We need smoke to come out and for it to break down so that there's a bit of regulation to it.
It's happening.
Got to hit rock bottom.
Yeah, that's what I would say. And so we need more of these stories. Because you're going to see a lot more people redshirting. And if it's your team, you're like, what a loser.
Yeah.
But you got to put yourself in that same exact place. They're making business decisions. They are in a business. They're a business. Their teams are businesses. The schools are businesses. So, yeah, good luck to that kid. It's going to be tough. He's like the first one to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I feel like if UNLV really wanted to keep him, they'd have just paid him the $100,000.
I feel like that's pretty easy for them, right?
I mean, think about what's one slot machine pool?
They're right down the street.
I mean, think about, though, how much a shot at the Mountain West title or a college football playoff appearance is worth. Millions and millions of dollars. So if you felt like he was something that would keep you from it or allow you to get closer to it, yeah, just pay him the $100,000.
And possibly a playoff.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You just pay him the $100,000.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, the investment is well worth it.
So unless you don't think the investment is worth it, which obviously they had decided it wasn't. I don't know this, but one of the rumors you probably saw online was like an offensive assistant coach just promised it to him. They didn't want to put it in writing because if you put it in writing, such and such rules come into play. If that's the case, well, the risk you take by not letting those rules come into play is that it's not in writing, and if they want to go, now we're good, they go, now we're good. But also, if that assistant coach really wanted you and was important, he'd find the money.
Mm-hmm.
So the collectives had the money. They're paying him $3,000 a month. So he's making $36,000 a month anyway. So they need to pay him another, $64,000.
yeah.
That's all. I'm not going to hate on the kid.
No.
That's a business. It's not elementary school. It is a business. We have to remember that. If we were there, we'd do the same thing. So
Who was the kid that wasn't their quarterback that went to Florida? He never started the season, but he didn't get his money and
They
he
promised
left.
him millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Never got his money. Peace out. I'd do the same thing. If I'm committing somewhere because of something if I'm going to go work for a place because they're telling me you're going to have your own office, we're going to give you this salary, you're going to have your parking spot, and I get there is no parking spot, I don't have an office, and I'm only making a fraction. You just lied to me. Why would I work here? You're out of your mind. So we should look at that in the same way. But we romanticize college football. Therefore, we don't. But we shouldn't as much because it's business.
It does suck for UNLV, though. They're coming. It's just a distraction now for the pretty good season going so far.
Historic season.
Yeah, or it galvanizes.
You see things that way.
I'm just saying it doesn't have to be a complete distraction. I saw some of the players now going, finally. Like,
Yeah, this had to be going on for.
yes.
That's what I was wondering. Like week to week, is he telling himself, "All right, you guys got one more week, one more week"?
I'm sure this did not come as a surprise
Right.
to anybody that was in the central core of that program. And the sources that I have were not surprised at all. And I've heard slight different versions of the story from like 4 different people. So there's no need to worry about who to trust or who's telling the truth. It exists.
Yeah.
People are going to take advantage of the rules as they are. It is allowed. We would all take advantage of any rule we were allowed to do extra in if it's offered to us.
For sure.
Let people make their money. Don't hate on people for making their money. That's it. People love tell people how to spend their money. People love it. There's no need. So I just wanted to comment on that. Things been out for a couple of days. I'm glad it had. There's been some days to live with it, where it's been in the news, and I've called some people. Because my initial thought was, okay, if they promised him that money and they didn't give it to him, it doesn't matter where he works or what he's doing. I also would have left. You lied to me and said I was getting this if I come to do that, regardless of what the situation. But then he didn't sign anything, and I'm like, oh, it's the parents' fault.
Yeah.
Unless we find out he did sign something, but they're saying he did. Okay, so there's that. Fever did not win, so not going to the game. They were down 10 or 11. They took the lead. I think they were up 1 with like 4 minutes left. They came back from 11 down. It was awesome. Caitlin Clark, but they had 2 people on her the whole night. So a little disappointing because I had courtside seats for game 3.
Can you reserve those for next season?
I don't think it's a reserve thing. I don't think it's like the movies where you go out and
You're like, hey man, so we're not gonna make the game.
go
Obviously,
watch
not
Avatar
playing.
2. And like,
Can I
I'll take
cash
those
that
2
in
up for-
next week?
The guy I know that's Joey G, the executive, was like, dude, we'll do it again.
Okay.
Awesome.
So yeah, that happened. I put $100 in the Bengals to win the Super Bowl
Oh.
because the odds have gotten real good
When'd you do that?
after they lost the 3rd game.
Huh.
Because the odds were like plus 2,400 or something, and I was like, I think they'll end up making the Steelers are winning that division right now. I don't think they're going to win that division. So when it's not a team that you expect to run away with it, there's a little room there.
Yeah.
So they are 0-3. I think if they win, I think if they go 9-8, they get in the playoffs. And I think they're better than a 9-8 team just generally. So you get in the playoffs, it all starts over. Joe Burrow, that's one of the quarterbacks I would take in my first 4 picks if I were having a new quarterback draft. So I put $100 to win like, I don't know, $1,600, $700.
That's
something like that.
nice.
I didn't put money on any other 0-3 team. But I feel like the Bengals, the odds got so bad that it was worth the $100 investment.
I gotta say, I don't think I've ever heard you say I put $100 on anything.
No. Good job, dude.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Very low.
Yeah.
That's a low amount of money.
Wow.
I mean that as a compliment.
No, totally. That's something
Yeah.
I would do.
Yeah, same.
No, you wouldn't. You put a dollar on
$5.
stuff.
Yeah,
That's
You
maybe
don't put
$5.
$100 on anything.
Super Bowl.
You're like flexing for no reason to flex. You don't put $100 on anything.
You're right. I don't.
Yeah.
But also, I wasn't going to bet 1,000 on it because they're 0-3.
No, I know, but still, like 100's like, all right, cool.
You saying he's maturing a little bit?
Yeah, well, yeah, sure. Yeah.
No, there's no maturation because I'm only getting richer. Let's be honest.
He's got the money.
Yeah, I'm saying my business decision was I don't want to put a bunch of money in an 0-3 team because odds are they're not going to win the Super Bowl regardless of who it is. But when they do those stats, like only 9% of teams that start 0-2,
Yes.
what they're not factoring in is there are 2 new playoff teams now. So that really dicks with the percentages. So where it used to be 8, it's now 9, right? No, it's what is it now?
7.
It's 7
Se-
teams. It was 6.
It was 6,
Yeah.
now it's 7. Yeah, thank you.
So one more team.
So there are 2 teams on each side.
Yeah.
So, and also that division with Pittsburgh leading the division, I don't think they're going to win that division.
No.
Baltimore has struggled.
Cleveland looks awful.
Cleveland is terrible, and Cincinnati's 0-3. So with Baltimore not, Baltimore won, beat the Cowboys, right? Got their first win.
Yep.
They're only 1 game over the Bengals, and those 2 teams are still going to be the 2 teams probably that are fighting for the division. Because I don't think Pittsburgh's good enough offensively.
Yeah.
So that's why I made that bet. You guys may want to put more on it now.
Hey, dude,
No,
dude.
I
Like
I
shame me
it.
for only doing $100.
I'm not saying no. I think it's a good thing. I think it's like I'm like, dang, he only bets $100 too. That's cool. Nice.
Oh, you're like him?
Yeah. No, I don't ever do 100. No.
What is your unit? Show me your unit.
Whoa, whoa,
Whoa. Off camera.
What is your unit?
What do you mean by that? Like my
do you
top?
bet?
Like
How do you bet?
Okay, I usually do $5.
Okay, so
on,
$5
on a single bet
is your
and,
unit.
And then if I do, then I think the most like I really will
Not
push
most.
is
Unit
okay.
would be a normal standard bet if you're just betting 1 unit would be what it would. That's why people sometimes don't talk about money. They talk about how many units they bet because everybody's money's different. It's all relative to what they bet. So if I were to bet 5 units, that's probably my unit is $100. So if I'm just going to throw $100, that's just a normal. I feel okay about it, but I'm going to bet it.
Okay,
If I feel
5.
pretty good about it, you do a 3. I'll do a 10 unit bet on something. That's $1,000, right?
Okay.
Dang.
So a unit is like your normal. I'm just going to bet. It's my standard, and then you measure it by units.
Gotcha.
So yours are probably $5
$5.
with your description.
Yes.
Eddie's is 1.
Well, 1 on parlays. I'm a $1 parlay guy, so that's not really my unit. I think if I'm going to bet 1 game straight up, it's $5.
Okay.
Oh, unless I have money in the bank, I'll go 10. So that's 2 units, though, right?
So yes,
If I'm feeling good, I got to put 2 units on it.
I feel like Casey knows a lot about gambling because I feel like he's just sitting over there. He's going, yeah.
I feel like he's got, bookie Family.
Well, that's just kids from New York.
Hey, forget about it.
Yeah, he's in a Yankees
$50.
jersey.
Here we go.
Did your
Money line.
dad gamble?
He gambled on horses. OTB.
that's
you
old
rub the horses.
Hey,
Yeah, that's old school.
trifecta. Hey,
That's
yes.
old school for sure. So, did you grow up in a sports gambling house at all?
Not really.
Did you ever bet because I went to the horse track a lot as a kid. Sneak in, get adults to bet the money for you, the $2 minimum
Yeah.
bet.
Oh, yeah.
So I went to the track a lot as a bunch of kid, whatever.
Yeah, we used to do that a lot because Belmont Stakes is like right around the block from
That's
us. So we
right.
used to
Really?
go there a lot. Yeah.
Do you bet now?
Yeah, I do. But yeah, I'm like a $5 unit thing.
I used to be a $5, then a
Yeah.
$20. It's all relative to where you are.
When were you a $5?
Yeah.
Well, they didn't really have sports.
When it wasn't legal.
Yeah, like with my buddies.
We don't talk about that.
Yeah,
With my
yeah,
buddies.
Don't talk about
Yeah,
that.
with my buddy. Reed, what is your
I
unit?
stopped with my units, man.
Yeah.
But when I did have a unit, it was like 25. So that's why I stopped.
Reed just doesn't lose.
No. Well,
Like he loses, but he doesn't lose over. There's no overall loss. Everybody loses a little bit inside of a series of bets. But like if Reed's around, like good things just happen.
that's because he's a good guy.
I guess
Patient.
it's weird. Okay, why don't we go and do the tittle tattle? Let's go.
It's time for the stupidest name ever. It's the Tittle Tattle with Kickoff Kevin.
Following our visit to Stone Cold's ranch, if you could get in the ring with any current or former wrestler, who would it be?
By the way, shout out Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Shout out.
On Monday, we put out the full hour episode. We put out the Too Much Access, but we did the full hour interview Monday on the Bobbycast. My favorite wrestler of all time is the blonde-haired Sting. So I've tried to meet Sting, no luck. So it'd be Sting because I've never met him.
That'd be cool.
When I wrote my first book, I wrote inside of one chapter like people I looked up to when I was a kid. And in that were Sting, the wrestler, Mark Grace, the baseball player. And I think Sting just found my book or somebody told him about it. And he just signed the page it was on and mailed it to me.
What?
No,
Sting?
That's cool.
no note. Nothing.
Hey, maybe he read it though.
Probably not.
No.
And I think he just signed over his name. And they just sent the book. And I remember just getting the book in the mail at the radio station. And like, why did somebody just send me a generic book? And I was flipping through it. And he just said, I don't even know where that book is. I do have a Sting autograph, but it's Sting the singer that I bought thinking it was Sting the wrestler.
That's funny. I can see how that can happen.
So it would be Sting. Stone Cold, I was in college, so he was massive.
Yeah.
And awesome. But I didn't look up to wrestlers as much then, where it was like, this person's awesome. It was like, man, Stone Cold's that's legit.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I was a little older.
Yeah, that checks out.
So, yeah, I go Sting, the blonde. Not Sting, the dark-haired Sting.
I'm trying to think of Sting. I
What?
don't know the difference between Sting the blonde.
Well, he used
Well,
to
one
have
had
blonde,
blonde
hair
hair.
with no, same guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the version was one was
Yeah,
blonde,
he'd
the
be
other
in
one was
like
dark.
really colorful
Oh,
pants.
I'm thinking of a different Sting.
Does one have face paint?
Yes,
Yeah.
both do.
That's what I'm thinking of.
But the blonde Sting had bright colored face paint.
Was
Gotcha,
one
okay.
a villain and one a good guy?
They were dark-haired Sting was mostly a good guy.
Yeah.
He'd flip a little bit, but he was based on the Crow.
yeah, this is the Sting.
Brandon Lee.
Yeah. What are you looking at?
This is a Sting I'm thinking of with the
There we
white
go.
face paint
That's
and
the
black.
Crow one.
And he was with that the longest. But when he was blonde Sting,
But it's the same Sting.
Yeah.
same guy.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know he'd been around that long. Because I watched that Sting as a kid.
Black hair.
Black
same.
hair.
The Crow Sting.
Yes, the
Yeah.
Crow. Sorry. Yeah, the Crow.
Yeah, no. It'd be Sting is my answer.
Okay.
Thank you for asking.
All right. Do you think there's more pressure on Kirby Smart to win the big showdown this weekend now that Saban is gone from Bama?
I did see that Bama is underdog for the first time since like the Civil War at home, which is not really the Civil War, but like the 90s or something.
I know what you're saying.
And Saban was Kirby's kryptonite, but it was always like, here are all Saban's coaches. None of them can beat him, but Kirby did a bit. But Alabama is the only team to defeat Georgia since 2020, and that was in the SEC championship. So Georgia hasn't beat in a conference game. That's why that Kentucky game was so weird when Georgia was playing Kentucky. But it would have been the first in-season game for them to lose. I don't think so. Mostly, I think if the college football playoff didn't exist, the answer would be yes. But I think any pressure is met by you can lose one or two. And if you're Georgia, you lose one or two, you get in over another team that lost one or two because you're Georgia. So I think they can lose this game and be fine.
Can I second that question then? Does that make it less intriguing to you, this game, because of that, than it would in years past?
I don't think it's less intriguing. I don't like it whenever it's like, you lose, your season's pretty much over. That sucks. What if that was what the NFL was like? That would suck.
Oh yeah.
Cowboys would be out.
Yeah, they'd be
We'd be
done.
done. Thank you.
I'd never bet on the Bengals, $100.
That's true.
So no, I'm interested in the game. I'm super interested in the game. That's fun. But when people are like, it ruins how how important the game is early in the year. I kind of hate that it all could revolve around one game in week 3 or 4. I think it's pretty stupid, actually. So no, I'm into it. I like it. I don't think the pressure is on them. I think if it were, though, it's met by, it's okay. We can still get to the college football playoff with 2 losses. I think they can lose this one and lose the SEC championship game and still get in.
Yeah.
All right, what else?
All right, which NFL coach do you think will get fired first?
I mean, it's probably Doug Peterson, right? I mean, it's slowly more and more and more and more. I mean, their owner, Khan, was like, this is the greatest Jaguar team we've ever had. Oh, it sucks. I really need Trevor Lawrence to play well.
Fantasy?
Nah, I got a bunch of rookie cards.
That was a bet.
He should just cut his hair, though. Like,
Yeah.
his hair is not good.
Yeah, and it's bad luck now.
But it's just not good. It's like stringy. It's like where I come from. That's the kind of hair that everybody had.
Is it because he's getting older? Because it
No.
used to look really good.
I don't even like it really. It's not really good hair. He has long hair. It's fine, but it's just straight.
Super straight.
Yeah, it's too straight.
You
Like,
guys rather have a perm? or
yeah,
what?
either put some texture into it or cut it.
Yeah, no wave or nothing.
Yes, no way. I agree.
Yeah.
I've always been like, why does he cut his hair? It doesn't look good.
So you're coming from a fashion point. Like,
I just need a little texture.
Something.
Is that too much to ask?
Like
No,
you just got
no.
like spaghetti noodles.
Yeah, straight spaghetti noodles.
okay, all right.
I think Doug Peterson probably goes in season. If they lose in 2 more games, probably in season. You know, I was reading where I forget which owner it was talking about why you don't fire a coach in season. Because when you fire a coach in season, even if the team is playing horribly, if you fire them in season and the interim coach does a pretty good job, everybody screams they want the interim coach to be the new head coach. But it was just because a new jolt of energy and the play, where then the owner's kind of like pressured. Like Antonio Pierce has that now with the Raiders. And I don't know if he's going to be a good head coach or not, but that's what happened. They made...
He was awesome when he interimed. When he filled in.
Yeah. So the Kevin Stefanski thing is weird because, he's been coach of the year. The Browns suck, but he's a really good coach. And if he were gone, somebody would immediately grab him.
Yeah.
Like, he's a great coach.
Yeah.
So he's the same coach Flacco's their quarterback, and they do. They need Watson to go away.
I know.
That whole thing is just crazy, bizarre. It's like, I guess just Watson is just not into football anymore. I think there's just so much, controversy going on in his life that I just feel like he's just too distracted to want to play well. I don't know.
He's also aged,
He's aged too.
but I don't know that that's all of it. I think you're right. I think if you had all of these charges and settlements and
Like, why is he going to stand in the pocket and get crushed? He's got
But also,
You
it's
know,
like,
I don't know.
you only have a couple more years to make your money, and if you've signed the deal and it's all been guaranteed, I get it. I'm going to tell somebody to step away from $100 million, $150 million.
Yeah, and if they cut him, it's like the cap hit is like
I think it's 150.
170.
Yeah, something like that,
it's
yeah.
insane.
Yeah, but could it be like all the money I make just goes out to all these allegations? Like,
Well, I think those settlements were not disclosed.
Well, then new ones came out a couple weeks ago.
that's what I'm saying. So he makes more money. He's like, well, it goes to that
Well,
now.
no, but what if he doesn't make any more money and he's still got to pay?
Yeah, that's
you're
worse.
making that money so you can pay these
I wonder
off.
if there's like a legal loophole for the Browns where, like, if he gets in trouble for these new accusations, maybe they can
Oh, they're looking
not
into
have
it.
to pay him.
The
You know what I
answer
mean?
is
That's what
yes.
they're probably hoping for, right?
They from things that I've read, they keep saying they're looking back into the contract, which means they're trying to find a way.
that one line.
It's just it'll be the biggest dead cap hit ever if
crazy.
he's gone.
Probably the worst contract of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, Russell Wilson.
Russ
then
is the other.
Yeah.
second. This would be first.
But his wasn't all guaranteed, I guess.
No, I'm saying Russ's cap hit. Just
Oh,
when he
cap
left.
hit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's the leader in the clubhouse right
Yeah.
now for biggest ever.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, next question.
All right, last one. After an 0-3 start, are your Bengals the most disappointing team so far?
Your Bengals.
They're surprising. I don't know that they're disappointing because I need them to win the Super Bowl, so I'm
Right.
going to shift up.
Put a hundo on that.
Talk me through the games. I think the Jaguars are probably, in my mind, if I'm just going from the most disappointing, it's not going to be Miami because they lost their quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
It's not going to be San Francisco. I'm disappointed their players aren't playing, but there's a difference in being disappointed because people are injured and disappointed because you have your full arsenal and they still suck. So you have McCaffrey in Germany having to go to a European
Good.
Achilles specialist.
Yeah.
Like, that ain't good. So, I mean, that's real bad if he's having to fly to another country. We have good doctors here.
Great doctors.
Exactly.
America.
The Bears are interesting because it looks kind of like a train wreck over there, especially with everything we heard. Like, it's going to be the easiest arrival for a rookie quarterback ever. There are still times where Caleb thinks he can outrun people that he can't. Like when these rush-ins are coming in and Caleb thinks from a standstill he can get away from them.
Yeah.
It's a different world now. These guys are much faster.
Oh, yeah.
But he's going to learn. What's the Bengals? They played the Chiefs.
The Chiefs,
And
Patriots.
That game was the Patriots game was terrible. That was a terrible game. Go ahead.
Patriots.
And then they just lost to
should-
the Commanders.
And then the
They
Commanders.
shouldn't have lost to
Patriots.
the Patriots. The Commanders game was weird because nobody ever punted on both sides.
Yeah.
All they did was score all that's so it's like the Bengals offense is doing what they need to do.
Yeah,
the
the
defense
defense
just
blew
didn't make a
that.
couple stops.
Yeah.
So in the Chiefs game, they were in it.
Yeah.
And I'm not making excuses for the future Super Bowl champion, but that's why I'm not completely distraught about the Bengals.
No division matches yet, so they have all those.
They've been
Gain
in
ground.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going the Jags.
Okay.
If Miami doesn't get a quarterback, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
They have nothing. They lost Tua. Now they lost because he's out, right, this week too?
Tua?
No.
Oh, Skyler?
Skyler.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
So is Boyer the starting quarterback?
Boyle?
Boyle, whatever his name is?
Hoyer and Boyle combined.
Yes, thank you. Or because they did end up signing Snoop.
Yeah, it says uncertain about Skylar Thompson, Boyle, or Tyler Huntley.
Yeah.
Will start.
Huntley.
It's Huntley, right?
Oh, yeah.
Huntley's been there now a
Pro
couple
Bowl
weeks.
Huntley.
Huntley played well when Lamar was out.
Yeah.
He did.
All right, that's Tittle Tattle. Thank you.
The stupidest name ever is the Tittle Tattle with Kickoff Kevin.
All right, we're on a streak. You guys want to do the parlay?
Yeah.
Okay. Take
no.
Arkansas +4.
Okay.
Are you getting it out?
Yep.
I would take Arkansas +4. I would take Oklahoma money line. I should take Arkansas off this.
Why?
I just make it's too.
You hit the last one.
I know it's too personal. Auburn sucked. That's why. Texas A&M not great, not a great team, but they're fine. Pull Arkansas out of this.
Okay.
Okay.
Oklahoma is going to beat Auburn. I can't believe Oklahoma is only a 2-point favorite, even though they're at Auburn, because we played at Auburn. Oh, Auburn sucks. Hugh Freeze is a dirtbag too, by the way.
Whoa.
He is. He went on and was like, we played them 9 more times. We beat them 9 times. Who says that after a loss, even if you feel that way? That's
Right.
loser talk.
Yeah.
You want the money line in Oklahoma?
I take Oklahoma money line. I take Kansas State money line over Oklahoma State. And I would take Georgia money line at Bama.
Okay, just pass that one. Let me go back.
I like
Georgia money line.
Yeah, I'm going to do all 3 money lines.
I like it.
Okay. I'm not gonna say anything. Good. Looking for that Oklahoma game. Not the Oklahoma State game.
They're at Kansas State, Oklahoma State at Kansas
They're
State.
at Kansas State. Okay.
If you want to take the 25 Whistles parlay, check out DraftKings Sportsbook. New users use the code BobbySports when you download the app. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY.
And you wanted Oklahoma State on that, right? Money line.
No, Kansas State.
Kansas. Oh my God.
Oh, hold up. We can just change that real quick.
Kansas State money line.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
Let me finish reading this.
Yeah.
go ahead.
Hold on. In Connecticut, help is available. Oh, let me get back. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help's available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. 1 boost per day when offered. NFL touchdown parlays only. Maximum 100% boost. Other wagering restrictions apply. Max bet varies. For additional terms and responsible gaming and resources, see dkng.co/ftball. What are you going to say?
With our parlay, if you bet 1 unit, you will
No,
get...
not 1. You can't do that.
No.
You have to do the dollar amount on that.
Okay, $1.
What would you have said? 1 unit.
I was gonna say 1 unit, then you
For
would...
who, though? Whose unit?
What? Well, whoever's listening, your unit. Whatever your unit is for a 3-game parlay.
Go ahead, finish your statement.
Okay, so I'll just take you to $1.
No, do what you would have said.
Okay.
I'm curious.
You
Me too.
you put 1 unit on it, you will win 3.84 units.
Okay.
That's pretty solid.
Weird way, but I like it.
Okay.
It does make sense. So,
It's plus 384.
yeah. You could have just said
That's
that.
probably easier.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I like that. All right. Let's do this. All right, now we're going to talk with head football coach Eli Drinkwitz. Eli became the head coach of the Tigers in 2020. They're ranked 11 in the country. He was the SEC Coach of the Year last year and really turned the program around. I'm a big Drink fan. I shouldn't be because Missouri and Arkansas are rivals, but I love him. He's from Arkansas. Yeah. Like, coached at Arkansas State, went to high school in Arkansas, like big Arkansas.
Seems like a cool dude.
Yeah. We liked him, huh?
Yeah, I liked him a lot.
Yeah, so here he is, Coach Drinkwitz. Hey, Coach.
Hey, how are you?
You know, Coach, I'm not supposed to love you, but I do. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not supposed to, and you've chummed the waters perfectly, but I'm rooting for you. So it's really good to talk to you in person.
Hey, maybe with Hugh Freeze saying that dumb shit yesterday,
God.
he can become public enemy number one in the state of Arkansas, and I can just be, slide into the background.
That's so interesting that he would say that he would win like 9, whatever. He gets on the point. He's like, if we played that game again, we'd win 9 out of 10 times or 10. Why? Have you ever been so upset and triggered days later that you say something so dumb? Have you done that? I've said many dumb things, Coach, but have you?
Honestly, I've said so much dumb stuff. I've come to the point where I've before I say it, I know like this is going to get your ass in trouble.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Let me ask about bye weeks because I know why players like bye weeks. Why do coaches like bye weeks? What will you do differently?
First off, you get to just take a deep breath. You don't have this constant churning in your stomach like, you got something on Saturday that's going to determine the happiness of about 6.5 million people, including yourself. And you get to kind of be normal. Like my daughter had a volleyball game last night. And so I got to go pick her up from the game when the bus got back. I'll get to go watch my daughter's T-ball games on Thursday night. Saturday, another daughter's got 2 volleyball games in the morning. So you just kind of get a sense of normalcy. And it's just a little bit of a time to take a deep breath. I think from a football standpoint, you can actually work on things. It's easy to say, hey, we got to get better this week. But when there's a game coming and you have all this game planning stuff you have to do, there's not a whole lot of just moments where you can focus on fundamentals and improvement because you've got to get the schemes in for that week. You've got to get the preparation in. But in a bye week, again, you don't have an opponent on Saturday. That opponent's yourself. So there's really more time to focus in on, hey, this 20 minutes of practice is going to be specific to getting better. 5 minutes on third downs, 5 minutes on team run, 5 minutes on motion adjustments. So that's probably the best thing about it.
Do you double scout the teams? Like, will you spend a good 2 weeks? I know you guys have A&M coming up. Do you like coming off a bye week because you have put in extra time, or is it just still, are you spending more time doing fundamentals and you're doing the same amount for every team?
It's really both. So like today is Tuesday, and so we will work just on ourselves. Tomorrow we'll spend some time on a future opponent that's not named Texas A&M, who's in this next 4-week segment. And then on Thursday, we'll turn our full attention to Texas A&M. So we will get maybe a day and a half ahead of our opponent, but we'll also get a day ahead on another opponent too. I don't like to practice too much for one team. It's like you ever sharpen a pencil too much and that edge is a little too fine and you push it on the paper and it breaks. I think you can get that way with practice for one opponent. I think you can overdo it, so to speak, because no matter how much you're going to practice, they're going to have a new wrinkle. And so you got to be prepared to adjust.
Are you the belle of the ball in Columbia? Can you grocery shop?
Yeah, I can grocery shop. I do find it funny. The other day I was driving my car at a stoplight and there were 2 college-age students who had their phone up next to the window taking a picture. And I just looked at them and was like, if you'll just tell me, I'll smile for the picture. I'm always worried that they're going to catch me picking my nose or something while I'm driving or singing to myself in the car. But I'll say this, I don't let it affect me one way or the other. I just know I got to wear a hat when I go to the grocery store instead of going all wild and free.
Talk about Brady Cook for a second because he's been on.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's I've been around some really good quarterbacks. I've been privileged to coach several that have gone on to play in the NFL, but Brady might be my favorite. Just from the standpoint of he's got everything. He's got leadership. He's got accountability. He's got toughness. He's got playmaking ability. But there's something about a kid who just works really hard to be the best that he can be. And that's really Brady Cook. I mean, he works, nothing was given to him. He's not just the most gifted player. He's really had to work to become who he is. And I mean, I hate to say it like this, but he's like the American dream, man. He's like Rocky Balboa to an extent where, he just keeps betting on himself and keeps delivering.
I had a caller call the show, and they were doing a paper on grit. And she was like, she got through the phone lines and she said, hey, would you talk about what you think grit is? And I think my career has been mostly based off perseverance, right? Like not doing a very good job and getting up again and doing it a little better and a little better because I've naturally not been that gifted at anything. How would you define grit? And who are a couple of your grittiest players?
Man, I love that you asked this question. Grit's the stubborn refusal to quit. I mean, that's all it is. It's just you refuse to give up, and it's passion plus perseverance over time. Like, what are you willing to endure to accomplish what you want to accomplish? I think Brady obviously is a great example of grit. I think Cody Schrader last year was an extreme example of grit. I think when you look at this year's running backs, Marcus Carroll, Nate Noel, those two guys are really gritty players who've had to overcome a lot and bet on themselves, refuse to give in to the outside noise to achieve what they want to achieve. I think Johnny Walker, defensive end for me, came in at 197 pounds, had 4 wisdom teeth taken out within the first week of him being here. And now he weighs 256 pounds, was the MVP of the Cotton Bowl. It took him 4 years to really earn significant playing time. But instead of pouting, instead of trying to go into a different situation, he just said, I'm going to sustain excellence every day. And that's really what you have to do. We had a group of Navy SEALs come in and they said, winning is reserved for those who are willing to pay the price. And that's kind of our thought process this year. Like, what price are we willing to pay to win? And you got to be willing to outlast people. You got to be willing to sustain it, even when it's not going your way.
Coach, at the end of the game, I see the two coaches go and they meet each other. What can you possibly tell each other, especially if you've lost the game? Like, what's that conversation like? Or are you thinking like, what am I going to tell them as I walk up there?
I've had some awkward conversations with head coaches across the deal. Honestly, when you're the winning coach and you're going across the field to the guy who's lost, you realize and know how much pain they're in right then. And really all I'm trying to do is give them some sort of like comfort or something, because man, the hardest thing to do is to swallow all of your emotions and then go in there and address your team. So that's really what I'm doing. Whenever they're saying something to me after they're whipping my butt, it's usually as quick as I can just shake their hand and try to gather my thoughts and emotions before I address the team. But I have such a tremendous amount of respect for the head coaches in this league. It's a fraternity of really good men. And, we don't always get along. We don't always agree with each other, but there is a level of respect there. And so, when you get a chance to visit with another SEC head coach, you always treat it with a little bit of respect.
I think the pre-game would be awkward if you're expected to talk and you don't really like them or know them. Like, we have guests in studio and they're celebrities that either I don't like or I don't know. And we have to like do small talk for like 6 minutes before this. Yeah. And that's torture for me. And I got to imagine just the human nature of it. That's probably the same situation. So the pre more than the post, because the post you can get out.
It's over.
But do you have to go talk to the other head coach before the game?
Well, apparently you don't have to. Ed Orgeron didn't come shake my hand before the first time we played them. And that was really the first time and only time I've ever had that happen. So I guess you don't have to.
But you're supposed, like, that's a thing you're supposed to, like.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a sportsmanship deal. I tell you, when I come into that the most is when you have to do the Friday pregame media, because there are some media that have been taking shots at you, or shots at your team, and then you got to go sit there and act like you're going to be buddy and give them all the information that they want to ask. So that one's always the one that you're like, yeah.
What if it's like, I'll use me for an example. Everybody knows I'm a massive Arkansas supporter and booster, and I'm involved in every way possible. And so I've been a little underwhelmed at our coaching decisions, especially the Oklahoma State game, the UAB game. And I have been the sunshine pumper for years. I believe. And this is the first year that I've publicly been like, man, like I don't feel like our coaching really got us to a good place to win. And I've said that, but I've been like loyal. If you were to see somebody like me that said that, like, would you know? Do you think Pittman knows that I've said such things?
He's probably cognizantly aware because of the influence that you have over the state of Arkansas and the fans. And I would just say this, man, Bobby, look, it's natural to say, yeah, there's like for me, I screwed up right before half. I went for it on fourth down, should have never done that, ended up costing them 3 points. I think if the coaches make the attempt to acknowledge the accountability, like, hey, I screwed it up, I think that should, with the fans, make sure that they understand, like, okay, he gets it. Now, if they don't get it, if they're being stubborn about it, if they're saying like they got their head in the sky, then obviously people can say what they want. But I think Coach Pittman's doing a really good job in a very difficult circumstance. And I think obviously the Travis Williams at defensive coordinator, I was a GA with him at Auburn. I think he's a tremendous coach. Obviously, Coach Petrino's a really good football coach, and they did an excellent job in the portal. So they're going to be a really good football team this year. I'll just say this. As fans, it's easy to criticize and critique, but everybody's growing into being the best version of themselves as a team. I think you got to give them grace and positive momentum as long as possible. And when it comes to the point that you can't. Everybody individually has to make that own decision. But whatever happened last year or the previous year or the previous momentum, man, that's totally different. It's about this year's team and this year's journey and the opportunity for them to develop their own identity. And, I saw that Oklahoma State game. There obviously were some things that people could be critical of. But the thing that I saw was a team that kept competing, a team that made mistakes but found a way to be in the game for all the way up until the last play. And that's the sign of a team that's getting better. So I would just encourage you, man, they ain't that far off. They're a tough, gritty team, which is why they were able to beat Auburn. I don't know if they'd do it 9 out of 9 times or anything. I don't really have an opinion on that, but I thought they were a really good football team in that game. I watched that game yesterday, actually.
I'm being guilted now. I've just been guilted. I've been guilted. That's okay. What's it like not being under the radar? Because now you guys have an expectation to win, and you have that big number by your name, and people are watching.
Yeah. I think it's been an adjustment for us. I think obviously that's something that we needed to address specifically after the game Saturday. I just felt like there was hesitation both within the coaches and the players, playing afraid to fail, afraid to lose. And you're never going to be the best version of yourself being afraid to fail. You got to go for it. You got to cut it loose. And whatever happens, happens. You got to believe in yourself that you're tough enough to handle whatever adversity or success is going to come your way. But you can't try to guide the ball into the strike zone. You can't try to guide the ball into a player. You got to just go cut it loose. And so whether it's me, whether it's coaches, whether it's players, we got to not worry about the rankings. They are what they are. We got to just go out there and do the very best that we can.
Final 3 questions. Are you superstitious? If so, what do you do? What are they?
I like the answer. I'm not superstitious, but I'm a little stitious. So I absolutely keep the same pregame meal routine. I absolutely keep the same Friday clothing routine. We have a thing called Boots Thursday where we wear boots and jeans on Thursdays. Very much adamant that I got to do that. So I'm not, like I said, not super, but there's a little bit of the right combo goes a long way.
Coach, you said that you watched the Arkansas game 2 days after you guys played. What is your routine? Like, are there like 5 games that you would have watched on Saturday, but you were playing and then you'll watch them later? Is that what you do?
Yeah. I like to watch future opponents. I like to watch high output offenses. I like to watch defenses. I get a cut up of all the explosive passes from the week before in college football. So you just try to stay on top of trends, or you try to stay on top of issues. Just listening to all the stuff, Auburn talked about their ability to really move the ball, but had a lot of turnovers. So I wanted just to see if that was my sense of it from watching it, and wanted to see what T. Will was doing defensively, because we're going to play him later. But then I wanted to see, I think Coach Petrino is one of the best offensive minds in college football. So just see what he's doing and have seen the way he's developing a game plan around his quarterback to see if there's just anything that we could borrow. Football is a game of borrowing other people's ideas to see if they can apply to what you do. And so, I do that with a lot of different people, but it gives you kind of a trend of what's going on in the game.
Final question, Coach. If you're struggling emotionally, mentally, who professionally can you call? Who's your mentor?
Well, there's a couple of different people that I can reach out to. From a spiritual standpoint, there's a guy in Boone, North Carolina named Dr. Dick Furman, who's been a person of great character and integrity for me for the last 6 years. And the highest of highs, I can expect to get a text from him that says TYL, which stands for Thank You, Lord. Or the lowest of lows, I can get a text from him that's going to say, thank you, Lord, because you just realize that you're blessed to get the opportunity to do this. And you realize that your future is in his hands and not to get caught up in the anxiety of it. From a coaching standpoint, Coach Malzahn's obviously a guy that I can reach out to that we exchange ideas back and forth from. So there's just different people like that. But in those two situations, those would probably be the first two phone calls. Sometimes I'm not quite as quick to call Gus because, he's still the guy that I GA'd for. So he'll tell me that's pretty dumb. That's pretty. What is your problem here, man? But that's good too. Keeps me humble.
Coach, congratulations on and whatever happens this year. But really, fundamentally turning the image of a program around. You've done a fantastic job. I'm a big fan. And good luck the rest of the year, except for one game. I'm really rooting for you.
Yeah. Hey, I appreciate it. I appreciate all the opportunity to be on this show because being from the state of Arkansas and watching your success has been really awesome. And so to have an opportunity to be on this show, and if y'all could ever figure out that 50-50 raffle deal on Twitter.
Don't start us, Coach. Don't even get us going. We need another half hour, Coach. All right, we'll let him go. Coach, good to see you.
MIZ.
All right, bye. This is my chat with Texas A&M head coach Mike Elko. Coach in his first year as head coach of the Aggies, spent 2 years at Duke, turned that program around. Aggies are 3-1 in the season. They face off against my Arkansas team this week. But really happy Coach Elko decided to come on. Here he is, Coach Mike Elko from Texas A&M. I have a question about when you went back to A&M. Like, did you already know what part of town you wanted to live? Because we live in a industry, sports, and also like media, where there's a bit of moving. And I think there was an advantage to having lived in College Station before. Did you know the part of town you wanted to go back to?
Yeah, it certainly made it a lot easier. It was also nice the first day I came to the office because I actually knew where I was going. That's the first time I've been through that in my life too.
Did you have a bunch of A&M stuff that you hadn't unloaded yet as far as like clothes?
No, so I've never doubled back before. So we've always had this like method of taking everything we have and giving it away on our way out of town. And so I kind of maybe regret a little bit of some of the stuff I gave away. I had some good stuff I wish I had back.
Whenever you're making that decision, because you took that Duke program and turned it into a real player, that's something to be proud of. I mean, I think of Duke as a basketball school, but I didn't think of them just as a basketball school, in your years there. How hard was that decision to leave a program that you had built in a Power 4, Power 5 conference at the time and go back to A&M?
Yeah, I think it's really difficult. And I think when you get to the top of it all, it's even harder because your decision affects the lives of so many people. And so, you got your own family, which obviously matters a lot, but then you've got the families of everybody who came to Duke to work with you and for you. You got the players. And so it's not just, surface level, hey, do I want to be the coach at A&M or do I want to be the coach at Duke? There's a lot more that goes into it for sure.
Whenever you left, was it, possibly I'd like to come back here one day? Or do you not think about that because who knows how anybody's contract is going to shake out anywhere?
Yeah, you don't really think about it from that perspective. Honestly, anything I've ever done my whole career, you kind of go to work, you do the best job you can. You don't really think about what's coming next. And as opportunities come along and present themselves, you just kind of go through it and figure out what you think is right for you and your family and, try to stay true to that as best you can in this wild profession that we're in.
Who's been the craziest freak athlete that you've coached? Where I know you're looking at me now and you're like, you're a freak athlete, Bobby, because I'm about to go work out. I'm about to get in the gym, coach, right now. And so who has it been that you have had where you've been like, man, this guy is a monster?
I think if you go back in the past, it's probably DeMarvin Leal, who plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. He was we signed him here when I was the defensive coordinator. He was the number 3 ranked player in the country, and he had some crazy things he could do, high jumping and flipping up off the ground. And he was a 6'5", 295-pound kid. And so he was freaky athletic. Our defensive end right now, Shamar Stewart, is pretty freaky athletic when it comes to those types of things too. He's a good first off the bus guy, and he plays like it.
My high school coach, because I was only a moderate to average mid-level high school athlete, he would say, man, you get the most out of your athletic ability. And in a way, that was a bit of an insult, meaning I wasn't that athletic, but I was a pretty smart player. But he'd be like, you really get the most out of that. What player did you have where that was, like, they were a good athlete, but they really utilized every part of their brain and studying and doing everything right and got the most out of it?
Yeah, I had a safety when I was the defensive coordinator at Wake Forest, a kid named Ryan Janvion, and he wound up starting probably 46, 47 games in the ACC. He started all 4 years as an ACC safety, and never really got a chance to go on to the next level because I think he maybe didn't have that height, weight, speed that the NFL requires or was looking for. But he had a phenomenal college career at a really high level, maximizing, I think, everything he could possibly do.
How do you feel about Texas being in the same conference with you again, Coach?
I think it's great. I think you have this huge rivalry in state. I think you've got two schools that are so close and are obviously the huge programs in the best football state in the country. I think bringing them in and playing them again at the end of the year and having it mean an awful lot, I think that those things are really good. I think that's what we got to make sure we don't lose that part of college football. I think you have in this day and age of conference realignment and people shifting all over the place, there's still something really cool about two teams that really don't like each other playing a meaningful game at the end of the season.
Coach, I hate Texas, and I'm going to tell you, I hate their guts. I hate everything about them. I hate their color. I lived in Austin for 12 years and love individual people from Austin and that work at the University of Texas. But I'm from Arkansas, and I hate the University of Texas, like every bit of it.
It kind of comes with the territory when you're in Arkansas.
Yes, sir.
Right? You don't have tremendous, affinity for Texas, Oklahoma, and to some degree Texas A&M too, I would imagine.
We don't mind Texas A&M. Yeah, we hate Texas. And my wife's from Oklahoma, and I've become very close with some Oklahomans. But it's like, and I say it, when we're on the air all over Texas, including in Austin, where our show does very well, and that orange just makes me vomit. Now, do you hate it more once you come into Texas A&M, or did you already go, that's a pretty ugly color?
So it's really interesting. So I was at Bowling Green for 5 years in my life, and when I was there, their colors are orange and brown. And our head coach was adamant that anytime we went out to clinics or meet people or anything, that we should wear orange because it would make us stand out. And so I think we loved and hated the orange all at the same time when we were together at Bowling Green. And so I have that in my past. And then obviously you come here and orange just doesn't exist in College Station, Texas. And so it kind of turns up the heat on it a little bit.
What's a rivalry game feel like in the locker room? Because a lot of these kids, maybe they didn't grow up with, as an A&M super fan their whole life, hating Texas. But is it palpable? Like, is there an understanding once they get there, they're supposed to not like Texas or not like Oklahoma?
Yeah, I really experienced it for the first time the last 2 years at Duke with the Duke North Carolina game. And before that, I probably would have told you, I don't know how different they really are. Games are games. But going through that Duke North Carolina, like, it was different. Like, that week was different. The way that players responded, acted, the feel in pregame meetings, meals, all of that stuff. There's just a different energy about the room. And then you watch the game unfold and everyone plays their best, across the board. And you just see a whole bunch of kids making a whole bunch of plays, right? And obviously that rivalry centered around basketball, but certainly kind of expands to every other sport that gets played. And now you're going to take that same type of hatred between schools in a rivalry that's centered around football that hasn't been played in 12, 13 years. Bring it back Thanksgiving weekend and hopefully have two really highly ranked teams playing each other. And it'll be weird. It'll be something different, that's for sure.
Do you guys have MRI machines there on campus?
Yeah, we do. We're actually fortunate. Our university has them. And so we're able to utilize what we have at the university and to get our kids in on a drop of a dime whenever we need to.
Yeah, I got to get one tomorrow, but it took like a week to get in. I just wonder if I was going to school there. I got an ankle issue, coach, athlete, you know what it's like. And so I got this ankle
And
issue.
I'll tell you what, after you can put me on your radio show like this, we'll let you come use ours whenever you need it. That way you don't have to
Easy.
wait.
There you go.
I know it's a long trip. Coach Eddie has a question for you.
Hey, Coach, what do you know about the 12th man? Because I went to school at Sam Houston State, right down the road from College Station, and I was there at College Station one night, and a drunk guy was telling me the story, the legend of the 12th man, where back in the day, the team didn't have enough players to play, so they pulled a guy out of the crowd. He said, "I'll play," and they played. They won the game. Is that even true?
Yeah, no, that's the real story. Yeah, it was back in the 1930s, and the team had gotten riddled with injuries, and someone from the student body stepped up to volunteer and be ready. And ever since that, they stand for the entire game at every football game, the entire student section, and it's kind of an homage to that man being ready at all times. And so now, the idea is that the student section is the 12th man for our football team, and they stand ready at all times to help in whatever way they can. Now, in modern football, we have 140 players on our roster, so we're far away from needing one of the students to hop down out of the stands for us. But no, it's a really cool thing. It's a huge piece of Texas A&M. It's a huge piece of our history and what we stand for. And if you haven't been to a game in Kyle Field or got to see it firsthand, it really is unique. It's really special.
Coach, we got to talk about this Arkansas series in Dallas. I don't like it. It does not feel. I like Jerry Jones, like the Cowboys. The stadium's it's pretty, but it does not feel unique or college football-y. Like, what are we going to do to change this?
I think this is the last year. So I think maybe you just saying it right there, we can say that's the reason why it changed. I think this is, I think we're in Fayetteville next year, and I think we're back to playing on home campuses. And I was actually, during the COVID year, we weren't able to play in Cowboy Stadium. And so they actually came to Kyle Field that year. So I was part of one of those games. But no, I think it's interesting. I think we've always kind of joked as coaches, like the reason why we're playing this game is because no one could figure out who's going to tell Jerry we're not playing there. And so kind of keep doing it because that's just kind of how things go. But no, I think it's both ways. I think obviously there's something about playing a college game on a college campus in a college stadium. Those environments are really special for your whole community, not just for the football team, but just everybody who comes out to a college town for a Saturday in the fall. But at the same time, there's so many Texas kids involved in this game. And so many of them either grew up loving or hating the Cowboys because you have to do one or the other. You can't just kind of be neutral on the Cowboys. And so, I do think it was a cool idea. There's a lot of excitement when you play that game in Cowboy Stadium. It's a great field. It's a great venue. And it is a little bit unique. It feels almost like one of those conference championship games where you have the split stands, and every time there's a good play made, no matter who makes it, the crowd kind of erupts. And so there is a little bit of unique, cool part of it, but getting it back on college campuses soon, I think will be good too.
Yeah, I just want to voice, I don't want it renewed. I don't want it renewed for any reason whatsoever. Also, because you guys have just been whooping Arkansas. And I don't like it's been a bad run. So
when it comes up again, I'll put Jerry in touch with you.
Yeah, he has my number.
You guys are both Arkansas guys. You guys are both Arkansas guys. You're both big time people. We'll let you guys kind of get together, and you guys can figure out what the right thing to do is.
Don't need to figure it. Already got it. Already got it. I hate it. It's the worst. I was thinking, Coach, you said you made a little comment that a little bit I'm not supposed to like Texas A&M, and I'm just thinking I have no issue with Texas A&M, and maybe because
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I actually, and I was thinking about this. I think I like Texas A&M because they hate Texas. It's how it's it's your enemy's enemy is your friend. And I think that's why I just had a therapy breakthrough right now as to why I've always had like this positive feeling about Texas A&M. And it's because you guys also want to beat the crap out of Texas. So it took you to get me there today, Coach.
There you go. I appreciate it. So we've closed the loop in your life. It's been open for a while.
We have.
It's a good therapy session.
Final 3 questions. Now, do you script any offensive plays going into any game?
Do I personally? No, our offensive coordinator does. I probably get, if he scripts 15 to 20, I probably get 1 to 2 that are kind of my preference or liking, and I get to review it. That's probably the role that I play. But yeah, I think going into games, you want to have a plan of how you want it to go. You want your kids to feel real comfortable with what, the first part of the game is going to go like. There's so many emotions that go into the beginning of a college football game that the more comfortable they are with what's going to happen, I think the better they perform.
So what do we think the first few plays will be tomorrow, Saturday?
I wonder why you want to know.
Okay, here's what we're going to do. The first one is going to be a double reverse flea flicker pass.
Let me text
The
this to
radio
Coach.
guy running down the sideline. So make sure you call Sam
Double
and let him know you got the
reverse.
secret scoop that
Yeah.
that's play number 1 in the game Saturday.
All right, got that. All right, cool. What about defensively? And again, this isn't about any game specific, but there's no way to script defensive plays because you don't know what the offense is going to come out with. How do you get your defensive players ready for what they're probably about to see when you don't really know?
Yeah, probably a little bit more of a challenge. I think the best thing you can do is try to be a predictor of how an offense is going to try to attack you or what they're going to try to do. And I think I spent 16 years as a defensive coordinator, and you try to get it right more than you get it wrong. But it's not easy to try to be guessing what someone's going to do against you. So you do the best you can to get your kids ready for everything. And then it's similar. You're just trying to get them into comfortable situations that they know how to manage until you get a better feel or beat on what exactly is going to happen as the game plays out.
Coach, did you go to the George Strait concert?
I did. My wife and I went. We got a box. It was my daughter was with us. So my daughter was there for Parker McCollum. Because she's a huge Parker McCollum fan, so that was an added plus. And then we got to see George that night, and what a scene that was. And Kyle,
Coach, if you ever need tickets to anything, I'm your boy now. Like we're bros. Just let me know.
You think Coach has a hard time getting tickets?
No, but you never know if it's like his daughter needs tickets to go to something, and he's like, I don't want to make the call.
It's true.
Like I'm here as a resource to you, Coach. You're my second favorite team playing this weekend.
Well, so I will take that, and I will certainly take you up on that too, because you can never have too many people willing to help you get tickets to a venue. And so I'll flip it around and say, you guys ever want to come down to College Station for a game? I'm your guy. I can't help you many other places, but I can help you down here.
I appreciate that, Coach. Last question: as far as this season goes, I don't know what do you tell your guys the goal is? Obviously, it's to win the conference, but do you talk college football playoff? Do you talk SC championship? Do you talk national championship?
No, I honestly, this is going to sound like such coach speak, and I hate that I'm even saying this, but it's really the truth. Like you just talk about the process of getting better every day, and it really is. And kids nowadays, between social media and fans and message boards and all of the white noise that's really out there, they can get focused on so many things that aren't real. And can drive them up and down in every which way but sideways. And so you really just try to give them something really palpable that they can focus on every day. We talk about things we need to improve on daily. We kind of make individual goals, team goals, and just try to keep it really, really narrow and try to stay focused on what's right in front of your face. Because in this day and age, you start picking your head up, looking around and reading things or trying to talk about big picture things like that, and you can drive yourself crazy.
So I'm not going to ask this question. There's no need to answer it. But what I'm not going to ask as a favor is anything NIL related. Look at me gifting Coach a non-question.
He thanks you.
Yeah, because I know, Coach, that's the last thing you want to talk about today with all that crap going on.
Oh my gosh. No, and I will say this though, because I do want to get my feelings on the record on this, because I truly believe this. NIL is a good thing for the players. It really is. I think when you talk about how much money and how much revenue there is in major college football nowadays, it certainly is right that the players are getting a piece of it. Like a lot of my colleagues, it's just the system. Like it's just the fact that there isn't a system in place to manage it with any type of ability whatsoever for the players or for the coaches is just crazy. And that part of it is what needs fixed as fast as humanly possible.
I didn't even ask the question.
That's perfect.
Got a perfect answer. As we conclude this interview, I'd like to say thanks for your time. We had Drink on a little bit ago from Missouri, and when they finished their interviews, they go, MIZ, and it scared me because I didn't know what he was doing. And Coach Pittman will go, Woo Pig, or everyone has, do you say gig 'em at the end of every interview, or do you do one of those at all?
Yeah. So I try not to be as corny as Coach Drinkwitz, but we do go. Who's a really good friend of mine too. So I hope that gets on air in years.
Yeah, it will.
But no, we're a thanks and gig 'em crowd. But I try not to overdo. I try not to overdo those types of things. I think when they're natural, you can throw them out there, and when they're unnatural, you just kind of let them go.
Then I'll say, this is how it'll play out. I'll say, Coach, love having you. Good luck every rest of the game except this weekend. And then you say your thing and let's see how it feels. All right, here we go. Coach,
okay.
Really appreciate the time. I like A&M. Good luck every game except this weekend.
Thanks, and gig 'em.
Oh, see, that felt good. That felt good. That was not corny
Good
at all.
job, Coach.
All right, Coach. Hope everybody's healthy. Have a great weekend, and hopefully I'll see you again soon.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me on,
All right,
guys.
bye, guys.
Do we think Travis Kelce sucks because he partied with Taylor Swift all year?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it's got to be. What else? He's
Age.
getting
Out of
shape.
He's getting older. Yeah,
Out of
I thought about
shape.
that.
Age, yeah. He is getting older.
But I mean, the distractions, man. The distractions.
I hate to jump on the bandwagon and be like, I agree, but I think about me. If I'm distracted and doing 8 things, there's no way I can pour in the normal effort into the main thing if I'm doing all the
Correct.
8 things.
And don't underestimate the power of love.
I will
Like,
not.
when you're in love, man, like you don't even know what's going on around you.
Travis Kelce has faced criticism for a slow start this football season as the Kansas City Chiefs, although they are 3-0.
I was gonna say they're 3-0, and he's probably just saving himself for the postseason.
Oh,
right?
is that it?
I hear you. And I think when you get older,
Maybe.
you do that. But I do think you
Yeah.
travel all around Europe all off season,
And you drink.
and your girlfriend's Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Things are probably treated differently.
He's been drinking for a while, though.
Yeah, but not like this. Traveling and drinking. I mean, you're not working out as hard.
Well, you know what? We don't know what he's been doing before Taylor. Like there weren't cameras everywhere
But he wasn't
for him.
all over Europe.
He's got a $100 million podcast now.
NFL analyst Rodney Harrison said Kelsey's performance is affected by distractions from his off-field commitments like acting and podcasting. Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes defended Kelce, which he should have, saying he's focused on winning.
Is he acting?
Yeah, he's in the Adam Sandler, I think
Commercials.
Happy Gilmore too.
Commercials. I
The
feel like.
commercials. I think he's in another movie too. Where's that?
Like a
Listen,
TV series, I think.
you date. He's a host of a game show.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
You date Taylor Swift, you get a bunch of opportunities you don't get unless you date Taylor Swift. I'm sure it's the greatest thing to ever happen to him, aside from the love. Like that, Travis Kelce wants to be famous. Like he's extremely thirsty for fame.
Yeah.
But take that from somebody who also is. But I'm not saying that Taylor Swift thing isn't love. It probably is. I don't believe it's fake, but I'm saying that's the reward you get for that. And that's what he is, reaping it.
Yeah.
Because nobody really cared. What they cared about was Patrick Mahomes' tight end, Travis Kelce, who also is really good. But it wasn't like now he's Taylor Swift's boyfriend, so you get a lot of opportunities.
They gonna get married?
Probably.
Wow, that's crazy. Out of all the dudes she's dated, she's got like
The one that you would never match with her. I know. Good for them, though. But I do feel like if something's different that has been consistent over the past amount of years, which he's not hurt, which last year he was hurt. The Lions game 1, he didn't even play. But he's not hurt. But if something's different, that means something's different. Yeah. So what's been different? Well, he's dating Taylor Swift, the most
Taylor.
famous person in the world, and he's been all over Europe on tour. Yeah, good for him.
and the work. Like, I mean, yeah, let's not forget. Oh, that's a lot of work. TV shows, hosting. Yeah.
Todd McShay thinks Travis Kelce's having a rough offseason because he's partying with Taylor Swift.
I
Yeah,
listened to that.
I did too. On Russillo?
Yeah, it was so good.
Yeah.
It was funny.
That's funny. Okay, let's look through a couple big games real quick. NCAA preview. Miami, almost a 20-point favorite over Virginia Tech. They're going to kill them. Who cares? Ole Miss going to kill Kentucky. Who cares?
Ole Miss undefeated, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're really good.
They're killing people.
Yeah,
They haven't played anybody, though.
Yeah, but so has a lot of other teams, but they're not killing. Like, I mean, they're covering every spread. That's the only reason I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ole
they're-
Miss has made me some units.
They're killing people, but they haven't played anybody yet.
Like when I look at the parlay of the weekend, I always hit Ole Miss on there. I put Ole Miss on there, and they they cover the spread
Automatic.
by so much.
That's famous last words. Everybody, do not bet on Ole Miss. You just heard
I'm
it here.
saying since.
Kansas State, and Oklahoma State, Notre Dame, and Louisville. I can't believe Louisville's 15.
Yeah, quietly, huh?
If you would have just asked, hey, is Louisville ranked? I don't know. Don't think so. Texas, a 40-point favorite over Mississippi State. That's wild. An SEC game, a
wild.
40-point favorite.
I did watch Mississippi State. Who did they play
They're
last
terrible.
week? They're not
The
good
quarterback's
at all.
out now.
Yeah, they're terrible. Ohio State is a 24-point favorite at Michigan State. Georgia and Alabama, Georgia 2-point favorite. Penn State, 19-point favorite over Illinois. The hilarious thing is Coach Bielema, he was like, white out. He's like, what?
Like he didn't know?
No, like they're doing a whiteout. He's like, well, I don't know.
I don't care.
I don't care. What's that?
What does that do for me?
Yeah, exactly.
He was going to come on this week. I had to cancel though. I had a dog issue, but Coach Bielema was going to come on. Sucks. I couldn't get him on. Utah 11-point favorite over Arizona. Hey, Utah, is that Zach Wilson's little brother
I don't know.
who was playing quarterback after Cam Rising went down?
No clue.
Yeah, Isaac Wilson.
Yeah, I thought so. He played really well. I think it's
Isaac
Zach
is-
Wilson's brother. Zach Wilson now with the Broncos, but
Yep.
most famous from the Jets.
Yes,
I
yes.
have a Zach Wilson signed Jets helmet behind me.
Look at that.
He's like,
I don't
I have
care.
no interest at all.
You
Yes.
could sell that for how much?
And then
that.
Oregon is almost a 25-point favorite at UCLA. So do we believe in Oregon again?
Yep. Mainly
Yeah,
because I got
Had a couple little hiccups, but didn't lose.
25 units on it.
You have 25
Or
units?
5 units on it.
25. You have
Sorry, I got 5 units on it.
$25.
Yeah.
Now you're getting unit and dollar mixed
The
up.
units are confusing, man.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's look at the NFL real quick. Falcons and Saints.
Ooh,
That's an interesting
That's
game.
good. It's a good game. I would have never thought that would be a good game.
I never thought I would even care about that game.
Right.
That's an interesting game. Who are you picking in that one? I'm going to go with the Saints.
I think the Saints are rolling, dude.
And
Yes.
even when they lost to the Eagles last week, like the Eagles had to like pull one out of their
Yep.
butthole for that one.
Basically.
Rams at Bears. The Rams are.
I mean,
They have a partial team right
they don't.
now.
They have receivers.
They have a partial team. No, they don't have their one or two.
It's tough.
And I don't know. Are the Bears getting better?
I don't know.
No.
I don't either.
They're hard to watch.
They're in Chicago, so they're a 2.5-point favorite. Vikings at Packers. Packers. Is Jordan Love coming back this week?
I think he's hopeful to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hadn't heard the latest.
Not sure, but I think it's trending. in that
Packers are a
direction.
2.5-point favorite over the 3-0 Vikings. They are in Green Bay.
Wow.
That tells me Love's playing.
It tells me they think Love's probably
Right.
playing. Yeah, because they're not going to do that with Malik Willis.
No.
Steelers 2-point favorites over the Colts. Jets and Broncos. The Jets over a touchdown favorite.
Let's
Good.
go.
Sounds like a good game, Casey.
Let's go. I'm ready.
Eagles and Bucks. Eagles favorite. Bengals at Panthers. I don't know.
Andy Dalton.
Could be a good
Andy
game.
Dalton, man.
Andy Dalton coming back.
Andy Dalton. I want the Bengals to win, but Andy
Redemption tour.
Dalton. Yeah, man. Jags at Texans. Texans need that win. Jags need that win. If the Jags lose,
That's
it's
a
an
good
I
game,
quit
too,
match.
In a way. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
If
done.
lot
they
on
go
the line
0-4,
there.
they're done.
Done.
Peterson may get fired.
Yeah.
Oh, that's tough. Commanders at Cardinals, Patriots at 49ers. The Niners are still a 10-point favorite, even though
Wow, they have no one.
they're playing 7-man football.
Is Kittle still out?
Yeah, I think
He's
so.
gonna be out. Yeah.
Browns and Raiders, the game that nobody cares about.
Yep.
Gosh,
The Raiders are a 1.5 favorite. Chiefs at Chargers. Chargers don't have a quarterback, right?
don't know if he's
Or
playing
safety.
Or not.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he suspended a game for like being an idiot, like breaking the rules.
What did he do?
He got suspended for like constant neglect of safety rules or whatever it was.
Oh, really?
Something like that.
Hard hits and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
And then Bills at Ravens. I think that's the Monday night game.
That'll be a
That's
good
cool.
one.
That's good.
Yeah, that'll be good. Ravens kind of need that though still, so they don't go
Yeah.
1-3. But the Bills probably.
You think the Bills are the best team in football right now?
I'd still take the Chiefs because they're the Chiefs. But if I didn't know anything about the histories of any team, I'd probably pick the Bills.
Yeah.
Even that Bills Cardinals game that was week 1, and you're like, dang, the Cardinals are. But the Bills were just scoring. Now you realize the Cardinals actually aren't that bad.
Right. They're sneaky good.
Yeah, so that's like an addition to the strength of schedule for the Bills now, where it was, do the Bills suck because the Cardinals are scoring so much?
Yeah.
But now Kyler's back and Harrison's actually really good. And all right, cool. I think that's it. Thank you, everybody. Thanks to the coaches for coming on today. Eddie?
I had a buddy of mine ask me like, "Hey, do you grill out when the Cowboys play?" And I said, "No, because I don't want to be doing so. Like, what if like the meat still needs to be done and the game's starting? I don't like that. So we just order pizza." So I wanted to ask you guys like, what's your ideal game day to watch your team? Like, no one at the house.
Oh, I
complete
hate
silence.
people. I don't want anybody around me. I don't want anybody to text me.
No.
I don't want anybody around me. I pace. I do push-ups during commercials.
Oh, is that just for fitness or
Because
you're-
I'm going to have to do something to remove the nervous energy. So what I will do is add fitness to that, and I'll do push-ups.
That's
And
cool.
I used to keep weights and do curls and shoulder lifts.
Dang, dude.
Dude, I just have it's a nightmare.
By the end of the game, you're just jacked.
There's a good pump.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
bet.
there's a good pump. That's what I do, and I usually eat before, unless it's a 10 o'clock game, and then I'll probably wait till after. That's my day. I don't want anybody around.
No, I don't want anyone. My wife was like, "Hey, do you want someone to come over for the Cowboys? We can invite some." Nope.
No.
My wife
no
doesn't even
one.
come in the room. No, I'm by myself. No,
She doesn't
wife,
watch
no.
the games with you?
She knows better
What about Oklahoma? You watch games with her?
sometimes, but she knows better that it will wreck my mood and I will not be good. So she just knows better for her. Like, why does she want to be around me if I'm a nightmare?
Yeah.
And she knows if we're winning, that I'm still like, I bet we're gonna blow this. So it's never positive. Because when it's good, I'm still like, I bet it's gonna be bad. And when it's bad, it's just bad. That's the history of being a Razorback fan. I feel like a Jets fan knows what that feels like. It just always. The next
gotta
play
throw
is
me in here,
the
man.
next play is like the stick. It's like the stick when that marbles game where they all fall.
Yes.
The little sticks out. The next stick that's pulled.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's my day. Kevin, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, I'm just excited for the Alabama-Georgia game. I feel like it's been a little bit of a dud this year. USC and Michigan was pretty good last weekend, but I'm excited that an early game like that, early in the season that is, it's going to be good.
It's weird that Saban's not involved in it because that's such a Saban, Kirby Smart type situation. And DeBose really hasn't done anything yet. He's only had, 3 games. So it's not like he's had the ability to have a signature win of any kind yet, but this could be that for him, for sure.
You mean Coach DeBoer?
Yeah, that's a DeBose.
So-
I'm thinking of Mike. Yes, thank you.
What's his first name?
I have a little bit of brain fog this morning. What?
What's his first name?
You tell me.
I've been thinking. Oh, Kalen DeBoer.
Kind of.
Hell of a coach.
Yeah. I call him DeBose.
DeBoer.
Yeah. Reed?
And I'm catching up with my fantasy here. So I got 2 guys that are questionable. So I'm going to make sure that I take them out.
There you go.
Oh my gosh.
So Reed ended up scoring a bunch of points and lost to me like by 9 points last week.
Ooh.
But he had a player that was out. And I went and looked at his bench to see if he would have put anybody in. He still would have lost.
Oh, okay.
But still,
Hey, but I got to keep up with it.
yeah,
huh?
bad move.
Come on, man. It's just a bad fantasy player.
Bad fantasy player.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Casey?
yeah.
Yeah, got to win this game this weekend against the Broncos. So we go play Sam Darnold in London next week, 3-1, 3 in a row. And yeah, playoff baseball around the corner. Got my Yankee jersey on. Number 1 seed as of this recording. Let's go. This is our
right.
year,
Go
man.
Orioles.
We got to keep Juan Soto.
Yeah, but
We
did y'all
need
win a
one-
game against the Orioles?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not this series. But I still rep. I still rep.
Not yet.
I see how it is, Eddie.
All right. We'll see you guys next week. Have fun. Bet that parlay. I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah.
I like it.
I feel pretty good about it. All right. Take it.
Here we go.
Bye, buddy.